Hi there, this is Seven, and you're once again welcome to my channel. So like we've been doing in previous videos, today also we are continuing with our class for the GRE. Today we are tackling reading comprehension. That is the final aspect of the verbal completion. So in doing this and in following previous videos to this section, you'll be able to do the analytical writing and the verbal section. Then it will be left with your quantitative section, which we'll be tackling in subsequent videos. So let's do this. Let's continue with this aspect. Let's zoom in into the reading comprehension. So for the reading comprehension questions on the GRE, they can quite be deceptive. But on the other hand, every answer to that question is somewhere in the passage. So you have the passage to reference from for your answers. ETS is also very good in crafting answers that seem right but are not, so that you get it wrong. So they want you to master. If you have not mastered your craft, you are going to get the answers wrong. But nevertheless, the answers are in their passage. So this is helping us to crack it and know how they put their wrong answers so that we can be a step ahead of them. So reading comprehension make up to 1/2. So about 10 questions of each verbal section. So about 10 questions. So they appear after the test completion and again after the sentence equivalent. So if you know this and this is what you have mastered, you can do that and skip your questions to that part so that you can answer them as such. So the passages you will see will vary in length from 1 paragraph for the shortest passage to 5 paragraphs for the longest passage. For short passages, you'll be asked 3 questions. For long ones, you'll be asked 4 questions. GRE passages cover a variety of topics ranging from physical sciences, biological sciences, social sciences, business, arts, humanities, as well as everyday topics, and are based on material found in books and periodicals, both academic and non-academic. So if you get a topic that you are familiar with, let's say you're a science student, you get something about electricity, you get to relate. But if they give you something that you don't really know about history or something, it makes it more difficult to do. So you need to master the passage to be able to know what they want and crack it as well. So we are looking at the basic approach to cracking GRE reading comprehension. So there are 3 things you are going to do. That is, in cracking the reading comprehension, you need to actively read and seek out important things. Then understand the different types of questions and what they require you to do, and quickly find credited response by eliminating incorrect answers. So we are going to do 3 things. That is mastering the passage, mastering the questions, knowing how they put their questions, then knowing how they put the answers as well, so that you know these 3 things. So these are the 3 things we are tackling. So in mastering the passage, that is doing an active reading. So you work the passage. So active reading is, or it allows you to ask questions or to be engaged in the passage as you go along. So effective reading involves asking questions as you read. You find claim versus evidence. You look at claim and evidence. Then you identify the structure of the passage. So in active reading, you find the main idea. So one of the central goals of active reading is to determine the main idea of the passage. The main idea of the passage is what the author wants you to believe about the issue being presented in the passage. Note how the main idea is distinct from the topic of the passage. So the topic of the passage may be like economic crisis. But the main idea is that they want you to believe that it is because of Russia-Ukraine war. That is why economic crisis is happening. That is the main idea, or COVID-19. So that is the main idea. The topic will be economic crisis. So the main idea is for you to know that maybe it's Ukraine war. So it is distinct from the topic. So the main idea is what the author wants you to believe about the topic. So if you find yourself agreeing or disagreeing with the author, or noticing the author pushing an opinion or arguing a point, chances are that that is the main idea. Then mapping the passage. So in mapping the passage, as you actively read, you map the passage. So you can say that, okay, so for the first paragraph, they are talking about A, B, C, D. Second paragraph, talking about E, F, G, H, I. Then it follows as such. So mapping the passage is a final tool in learning how to crack the passage. By mapping the passage, you can easily identify the main idea of the passage, the structure of the passage, the author's side on various claims presented in the passage. To successfully map the passage, you must do something a typical test taker does not do. That is, you must write things down. So as you read the passage, write things down. Okay, paragraph A, B, C, D. The idea behind mapping the passage is to separate each sentence into one of the 3 categories. That is the claim, evidence or objection, and the background. So claim is the opinion, expressed in the passage, either the authors or third parties. Evidence is information presented to support a claim, while an objection is information presented to call a claim into question. Background is any information that is generally accepted. So as you read, okay, so paragraph 1 is a claim, paragraph 2 is an objection, paragraph 3 is an evidence, paragraph 4 is a background. Everyone knows that this one is true. So it helps you to know. So once a question is asked, you can easily come to this paragraph or that paragraph because you have mapped it. You know that this paragraph is talking about this, that paragraph is talking about this, or this line is talking about this. So it helps you to know where to refer to if a question is asked. So that is the essence of mapping the passage in your active reading. So we are done with that of the passage. So going into the questions, you have to identify the subject and understand the task of the question. You know the subject, what they want, and the task, what they want you to do. So general task ask about the passage as a whole. So general task. So they can ask you about the primary purpose of the whole passage, the main idea, the structure, and the tone. So that is for the whole passage. That is general. Then we go to specific ones. So primary purpose questions ask why the author wrote the passage. The answers to these are tied closely to the main idea of the passage. These questions can be identified by the phrase primary purpose or primarily concerned with. Then the task of the main idea questions is to figure out what the author wants you to believe. The main idea is the overall claim supported by the evidence contained in the rest of the text. In other words, what does the author want you to accept as true? So that is the main idea. Then the structure, overall sequence of the passage. While others ask about a smaller piece, the smaller piece is specific ones. So they ask about a specific piece. So let's say paragraph 1. What is the structure of paragraph 1? But the general ones are the overall. What is the structure of the entire passage? Then the tone. The tone asks you to evaluate how strong or negatively the author feels about the subject of the question. Then, so specific tags. So specific tags references a small part of the passage. So there are 4 different specific questions task. Vocabulary in test. So they can find a word in the passage and ask you that this word in the passage, what does it mean? Then retrieval will tell you to go to a place and retrieve information from there. So according to this or this person, what did this person do? What did that person do? Then inference. So per this, we can infer that. So that one too is there. Then specific purpose. Specific purpose is per a specific part of the passage. So vocabulary in test, like I said, asking a question, retrieval, finding an information about the person or theory in the passage. Inference, asking you to infer about something that was said in the passage. Then specific purpose, going to a specific site to ask for something. So general task, specific task, complex task. So complex tasks require a good understanding of the main idea. So cracking the passage is essential. Complex questions usually appear as weakening or strengthening questions. Weakening questions ask the test taker to weaken a claim presented in the passage. The task is to identify the answer choice that makes the claim less believable, that weakens it, so less believable. Then the strengthening questions ask the test taker to strengthen a claim in the passage. In other words, you must find the answer choice that makes the claim more believable. So this example, so I want you, like we've been doing in previous videos, read this passage and answer the questions that follow. So there's about 4 questions, but various paragraphs. So they have this paragraph that help you answer 4 questions. This paragraph that will help you answer 4 questions. So go through, and as you've been mentioning, you see how the questions are put: inference, vocabulary, retrieval, primary purpose, specific purpose, main idea, and also that we can understand it from there. So go through this. The answers to this will also be in the description so that you can see how you are performing. So the last part of the reading comprehension deals with how the answers are put. So if you are familiar with how they put their wrong answers, it helps you to eliminate the wrong answers. Then you'll be left with the right answer. So knowing the types of answer choices that test writers use to create the wrong answer is key in applying your process of elimination effectively on the test day. The following are ways in which test writers create wrong answers. 1. Recycled language, extreme language, no such comparisons, reversals, outside knowledge, emotional appeals. So recycled language, one of the easiest and most common ways the test writers create wrong answers is by repeating memorable words or phrases from the passage. So you remember this? Yes. But there's a really good chance that recycled languages come from the wrong part of the passage. So they'll take a wrong part and bring it to this. Because you remember, you're going to choose that answer. And the passage, we see something a little different from there. So correct answers from the GRE comprehension questions are generally paraphrases of the passage. Paraphrases of the passage. Then the other one is the extreme language. So the extreme language, another common way to create wrong answer choices by using language that is too strong or too broad. Common ways to do that are by using words such as must, always, never, only, best, and other very strong words, or by answers that use verbs that are overly strong, such as prove or fail. So these are some extreme words that they use: never, always, only, none, not, no, must, prove, defend, attack, denounce, counter, contradict, failure. So these are extreme words that they use. So maybe they are saying that, so per the example above that we saw, they say that the II has been given a reserve in Madagascar, that where they live. But in one of the answers, they said that they only live there. Like, they only live there. They said that they've given a reserve for them to go and live there. It doesn't mean that they only live there. But the answer is using an extreme language. They only live there. They only live there. So because maybe a zoo has a lion, they've kept lions in zoos. So you go and say that lions only live in zoos. So this is an extreme language. This is an extreme language. As such, there are no such comparison. So comparison words such as better, more, or less than are used by test writers to make answer choice more appealing by drawing a comparison between two items referenced in the passage. So just like the paragraph above. So let's say they said that they have big eyes. The they have big eyes, which makes them see well at night. Then they go and compare them to owl or owl, depending on the school you went to, owl or owl. So if they say that, okay, so they have better sight than that animal, depending on the school you went to. So if they have better sight than them, but they didn't say that they have better sight than them, they just said that they have round eyes, which made them see well at night. Then you go and make this comparison. So they didn't make that comparison in the paragraph or in the passage, but because they want to put wrong answers there and that thing was said, they just want to bring it and make a comparison which will make it wrong. As such. Then reversal answer choice seek to confuse the test taker by stating a contradiction of the main idea or a fact from the passage. These answer choices are more difficult to spot because there isn't a common word for you to know. So let's say they will put just a not. So it is the same thing, okay, from the passage, but there is a not somewhere. So they've reversed the meaning of it. So if you don't read it carefully, because you are seeing maybe phrases on the passage or words on the passage, you are tempted to choose that answer. So analyze every word of the answer choice. If a choice is perfect, except for a contradictory detail, eliminate it as a reversal. Then the last two, which are not common, the outside knowledge. So this answer choice is fairly rare on the GRE. However, it's still worth mentioning. Correct answer choice on the GRE contain information that is found only in the passage. However, outside knowledge is worth mentioning. So let's say they say that, okay, ECG is owned by a private firm. In the passage, they are saying that it is owned by a private firm, but you know that it's a government owned from outside knowledge. Then in the answer, they're asking you that who owns ECG? Then the government say government, but the passage is telling that it's private owned. So per the information in the passage, you choose an answer. Then emotional appeals. So emotional appeals also appeal to what you believe in, your emotions. So let's say you believe that God created the world. The world was created by God. The earth was created by God. Then they are saying that it is Big Bang theory. It was just a blast, boom. Then the world came about in the passage. Then because you believe in God that God created, in the answer they say that, okay, so the world was created by A, God, B, Big Bang theory, C. Then it follows. Then because you believe in God, they are appealing to you emotionally. Then go and choose A, God. Then you are going to get it wrong. So the correct answers are found in the passage. So let's say you have done all these things and you are down to two answers. So in the two answers, what you are supposed to do, the one that uses more phrases on the passage is likely to be wrong. The one that uses strong language or makes a stronger claim is likely to be wrong because they are using extreme language. And the one that makes a comparison is also likely to be wrong because there will be no such comparison. They are using that so that you'll be trapped from the passage. So do this and you'll be good in your reading comprehension. Then, like we did, use this to answer this comprehension question. So we are going to use these ones to answer 4 questions like we did. The answers to this two will be in the description. So make sure to compare your answers to that and see how you are performing. So if you have done this, if you are doing this, this will help you crack your reading comprehension on the day of your GRE, and you are going to excel and do tremendous on the test. So do that, and this will help you in cracking the whole verbal, because you have done test completion, sentence equivalence already, and we are doing reading comprehension now. So do this and crack your GRE verbal set, and you'll be good to go to score a high mark. If you have not yet subscribed to the channel, please subscribe and like the videos and hit on the notification bell to be notified of the quantitative sections that I'll be putting on or be uploading. See you in another video. God be with you.